You're listening to the Relationships Uncomplicated podcast. Relationship advice so valuable, you won't believe it's free. And now your host, relationship expert, Edith Chironi.
Welcome back to another episode of Relationships Uncomplicated podcast, episode 73. I'm your host, Edith Chironi, and today I talk about how long it takes to recover after infidelity. Now, let me start by letting all of you know how thankful I am to hear so many of you letting me know about how this podcast is a lifesaver and a relationship saver. I just had a conversation with a couple who joined our program who told me that they've listened to many relationship podcasts, but ours was just a little different. And the episodes and I guess the message that I send and my team sends resonated with them and helped them survive the immediate aftermath. This is not the first time that I hear this, but I gotta tell you, every time I hear this, it literally makes my day. It even makes my week. So, just thinking about how a couple out there who's been through this life-shattering event listens to one of the episodes or a few of the episodes, and this is comforting for them, and they get a little glimpse of hope that they can be okay. It's something I cannot measure in words. So thank you for listening, and thank you for letting me know that this is helpful. So feel free to reach out if an episode was helpful, and even write a review, because I think, the better reviews, the more reviews we get, more couples get to understand that this is different. This is not just another podcast that somebody's just trying to get content out there into the universe, but the whole purpose behind this is really to give you hope and to give you tools. Okay, so to our question, how long does it take to recover after infidelity? Well, for starters, I'm not going to be the one or this therapist that tells you how long you and your spouse should be taking to heal. Instead, I'll provide you with tools to make an educated estimate. This is all based on our years of experience working with couples in the aftermath of infidelity, of course. But before we dive into our topic, I'd like to present this episode's sponsor. This episode is sponsored by my infidelity recovery and healing program, It's Okay to Stay. If you're struggling with the aftermath of infidelity but want to stay together, you can rebuild trust and heal through genuine expert help from me and my team personally. I started It's Okay to Stay after seeing couples therapy and self-therapy or self-help options often lack essential components to help couples save their relationship after infidelity. It's Okay to Stay is a complete 8-week coaching program that involves an online roadmap course and one-on-one work with an affair recovery specialist. So if you have faith in your relationship, if you want to stay together and heal, let's talk. I'm offering a 45-minute free consultation for couples who want to save their relationship after infidelity and need expert guidance. If that's you, just go online to edithchironi.com/45 and pick a time for a video call that both of you and your partner can commit to. I'll hop on. We'll start with understanding your struggle. Then we'll talk through It's Okay to Stay to see if this program is right for you. So many couples try therapy and self-help methods only to be put at odds with each other. But that doesn't have to be you. With expert help, It's okay to stay will give you the clarity you need to understand each other, heal, and find a path forward past infidelity. So, all you have to do is book your free consultation at iditcharoni.com/45. That's iditcharoni.com/45. And I'll be honored to stand alongside with you on this journey. So, back to our topic. I want to answer this question first. Does time heal all wounds? Well, in the aftermath of infidelity, time alone does not heal. It's what you do in that time that heals. And it's also other things like your ability to handle conflict, your body's reaction to trauma and healing from trauma, your support system, and more. We are probably not going to be able to cover everything in one episode, or probably even 2 episodes. That's not going to be possible. So what I decided to do is share some part of it with you. But the parts that I'm going to share are, in my opinion, the most important and probably most valuable for you. I'll go into more detail right now, but let's try to figure out this one first. Why do therapists even say that it takes X time to heal? As you may know, we interview couples who are interested in joining our coaching program, which gives us access to what they experienced prior to coming to us, trying to figure this out or to fix things. Throughout the years, and probably hundreds of interviews at this point, we're noticing many couples come to us not only in the aftermath of infidelity, but many times in the aftermath of unhelpful help. Some of these couples have heard that they're not healing fast or slow enough. Many of them were told that it takes X amount of time, or, it'll take you 8 months or 6 months, only to get frustrated because they are feeling like this is not happening in the time frame, or more so, they are not feeling healed by the time they were told they should feel healed. And this is very, very frustrating for so many people. So I want to try and fix this, hopefully, before it's even broken for you. So if I try to answer this question, is there a set time? My answer would be no. There is no set amount of time you should be healing by. But there can be a period of healing in which you and your spouse will make specific steps towards healing. And it doesn't have to be that long. Most of it can take anywhere between 8 to 10 weeks. So about 2 months is what you can expect as far as the healing period. Now, it doesn't mean that the whole healing is anywhere between, those weeks. This is where most of the work will be done, but before that, you probably will need to experience something, and after that, you'll need to experience. So the whole healing is very fluid and very, very much dependent on a lot of things, which I will go into in a few minutes. Now, it's not only dependent on what you do, by the way, it also depends on other variables. Now, I hope you're ready to learn what they are, because we're going to begin with first understanding the healing periods and how they go into account, or how they become part of those variables. Now, during the years of practicing as an affair recovery therapist, I've seen couples recover after a few weeks, and others stay stuck and unable to move a step forward after the revelation. Is there an average? Well, maybe, but average are totally irrelevant to a couple who is experiencing the aftermath because, does it matter that it took, you know, 10 other couples to heal 6 months and 10 other couples 3 weeks? Does it matter to you? I don't think so. I think we cannot look at averages here, and we need to look at you specifically. So, if we still want to give you some clarity without a rigid limitation, we're going to have to combine healing periods with personal variables. Meaning, a one dimensional outlook is not going to work here because the healing is not one dimensional. Betrayal is not one dimensional, and relationships are not one dimensional. You get my point, right? So let's put on a multi-dimensional lens and look through it. We'll start with healing periods, and unlike healing phases, these are bigger chunks of time. They are a little less rigid. And I think most couple can expect going through those periods if they choose to stay together after infidelity. Now, I see 4 main periods. Number 1 would be the immediate aftermath. That's basically from the day, where people like to call that D-Day, right? So from that day, the revelation day on, this is usually going to be the immediate crisis, right, that you experience. The second period I call the in-between, and that'll be probably the main healing period that we look at, that our program targets. The in-between is when you start moving away from the crisis mode to the option to move on. It can be short or it can be prolonged, depending on other things, which I will discuss later on. This is where most of the active healing is happening. This is where the reconnecting is happening and the restarting of a new relationship is going to start. So we estimate this period to be anywhere between 8 to 10 weeks. But again, it really depends on you. It can be shorter and it can be longer. The next period of time I call post-healing. This is basically you starting to experience the future of your new relationship, of your new and improved relationship. And there's no time limit to how you experience it, but definitely the period after that, which I call the new normal, is a very long period. And hopefully this is the period that you experience right after the post-healing period. This is where the infidelity is stored and does not have or does not hover above the relationship. It's where you will be able to feel normal again. You're not going to forget, right? But you are going to live your life without this being in the center, and you'll be able to experience your relationship without this hovering above your heads all the time. You won't discuss it as often. You won't think about it as often. If I want to go back for a second to the post-healing period, this is almost like a trial period where you give the new and improved relationship a chance. And then you'll see if you're going to be one of those couples that will be able to flourish and grow from the trauma, or you're going to be that couple that's not going to be able to do that and going to be stuck in the marital jail and have that hovering above you all the time, or you're going to be that couple that puts everything behind them, never looks back. But then if you are that couple, your new normal period is going to be quite awful, because if you're going to ignore the infidelity and put it behind you, You'll be able to maybe do that for a little bit, but then once you go back to normal, the normal is going to hurt, and that will throw you right back into crisis. Now, couples go through these periods in different speeds, because what speeds things up and what slows things down are the following variables. So we need to take the periods of healing with the following variables, and they are: number one is action. These are the steps that you take to heal the relationship and to heal each other. And I call it action because you have to be active. So just sitting there and waiting for time to heal and waiting for someone to forget and waiting for a conversation that never happens will not heal you. It will only push this to the side and build resentment. And so if you are a couple that takes action, that really makes important steps to heal, whether you are helped with an expert or you do it on your own, if you're active, then you increase your chances of healing. Another variable is expectations. This is, I think, why I did this podcast, right? Expectations can ruin your healing, because as soon as you feel that you're not healing fast enough, if you had this expectation, this will stop you from healing and make you feel that there must be something wrong with you because you're not healing fast enough or slow enough, or because your partner isn't feeling better already. And so, or if you have expectations about how it should feel. Many people tell me that, they think that they should feel better all the time, better and better and better. And I say, no, this is a bumpy road. This is sometimes in the beginning, it's a roller coaster, but then it becomes this bumpy road. And when your hurt partner feels all of a sudden really bad, that's not a step forward. That's actually an opportunity to move forward, because if you handle this harsh period, then your partner will be able to grow from it. And so mind and pay attention to your expectations. Are you expecting too much? Are you expecting too little? Where are your expectations? And, one of the things that we do in our program is definitely talk about those expectations and make sure that, you start with certain expectations. And if you have the wrong expectations, you have us, to basically walk you through having the right expectations. Next variable is your own psychology, your psyche, right? And that includes your personality structure, your character, your resilience, your self-esteem, what you experienced in childhood, the defense mechanisms you built in childhood that you might take with you. This is central to your healing. And I'm not just talking about the hurt partner's healing. I'm talking about both, because the partner that was unfaithful can also go to their shame instead of go to their guilt and be able to heal their partner. And so what they've experienced in childhood, their resilience, their ability to help also has to do with that part. So it's not just, if your hurt partner is a person who, doesn't handle trauma so well, then, but it's also your ability to help them to get out of the trauma that counts. So two people, two different psychologies and personality structures influence this process as well. Next one is your ability to heal from trauma, which I think very much connects to the previous one. many people will experience this as trauma. And I think now more and more we are starting to understand that trauma is not only for the soldiers that come back from the battlefield or for people that have been through sexual trauma. Trauma, there are many traumas. And I don't think this one, by the way, is a mini trauma, but there are things that we go through life that, maybe a few years ago wouldn't be considered as trauma or supposed to be traumatic, but we know today are registered as trauma. They could be micro traumas, they could be childhood traumas, and they can be relational traumas. And relational traumas are definitely traumas that we respond to. And we respond, different people respond differently to trauma. There are those that will put it to the side and will not think about it. There are those who will have intrusive thoughts, intrusive flashbacks, and so on and so forth. There are those who will have that so intrusive to the point they will not be able to continue their normal life. And so we need to handle that, right? We need to be able to give you tools to handle the trauma. And so your ability to heal from trauma has to do with your own psychology and how your body treats the trauma. And if your body does not react well to that, then are you able to take help to help you with this trauma? And when I say take help, I mean but mostly help from your partner. Are you going to let your partner heal your trauma? And are you, as the partner, as the one that was unfaithful, willing and capable of giving that type of help? Okay, so the next variable is commitment. Maybe I should have put this one first, because if there is no commitment to the relationship and to the healing process, then this is just not going to happen. And when I say commitment, probably I will need, or when we work with couples, we definitely look for commitment from both partners, but we probably need much more commitment from the partner that was unfaithful. If we don't get that, then we will say, guys, wait a little bit, because I don't think you can start your active part of the healing yet. Because for that part to happen, we need commitment from the partner that was unfaithful. And then the partner that was hurt may feel like their commitment, they're not sure about their commitment, right? They don't always know that that's for sure what they want, because they're so hurt. And that's okay. We can work with that. But definitely commitment to the relationship and to the healing process, which again is a bumpy road, is something that's going to be an important variable in your healing process and in the healing period. And then the last one I want to talk about today is your ability to accept influence. So what does that mean, right? I think that when we communicate healthy relationships, when we look at the research, we see that partners in healthy relationships have that amazing ability to accept influence. And what I'm talking about is to be able to even handle conflict in a very different way than normally you would think. And so you'll see, if you look at couples that have very healthy, good relationships, when you look at them handle conflict, you'll see how one is able to influence the other by saying certain things, and the other will be influenced by accepting those things. And so you won't have two agendas fighting each other, but you'll have one agenda basically impacting the other because they said the right thing, because they listened the right way. And so if you learn to do this, then you increase your chances of healing. But you really have to be a really good speaker and a really good listener in order to do that. That's part of what we teach our couples for sure. But that what we've noticed is when that magic happens, it accelerates the healing so much. And so I thought that this should be a very important variable in your ability to heal. Okay, so now you know how long it should take, or it again. I don't want to say should because I don't like the word should, but I think now you have a better idea of what it can take for you to heal. Now, how do you take all this information, apply it to you, right? How do you make it yours? Because I spoke about couples. How do you take all this information and basically apply it to your relationship, your situation, your story? I'll tell you all about this after the sponsorship message. So, again, this episode is sponsored by my Infidelity recovery and healing program, It's Okay to Stay. If you are struggling with the aftermath of infidelity but want to stay together, you can rebuild trust and you can heal through genuine expert help from me and my team personally. I started It's Okay to Stay after seeing couples therapy and self-help options often lack essential components to help couples save their relationship after infidelity. It's Okay to Stay is a complete 8-week coaching program that involves an online roadmap course and one-on-one work with an affair recovery specialist. So if you have faith in your relationship, if you want to stay together and heal, let's talk. I'm offering a 45-minute free consultation for couples who want to save their relationship and need expert guidance. If that's you, just go online to edithcheroni.com/45. Pick a time for a video call that both you and your partner can commit to. I'll hop on. We'll start understanding your struggle. Then we'll talk through It's Okay to Stay to see if this program is the right fit for you. So many couples try therapy and self-help methods only to be put at odds with each other, but it doesn't have to be you. With expert help, It's Okay to Stay will give you the clarity that you need to understand each other, heal, and find a path forward past infidelity. So all you have to do is book your free consultation at edithcheroni.com/45. That's iditscharoni.com/45. Okay, so we're back. So to answer the question, how long affair recovery takes, you already know it depends. Now let's see how you can determine that for your specific case. So here are the steps that you need to take. Number one, you need to determine where you're at as far as the healing periods. So remember, we talked about 4 periods: the immediate aftermath, the in-between, the post-healing, and the new normal. So the first thing you want to do is determine where you're at as far as those healing periods. Then, number 2, you want to determine the variables as they pertain to you and your spouse. So what you'll have to do is basically take every variable I mentioned and think about it. And you can do that separately or together. Think about how that pertains to you as far as action, the steps that you're taking, expectations that you have from healing, and the length of healing, the how it's going to feel, your own psychology, your psyche, your ability to heal from trauma, your commitment to the relationship and to the healing process, and your ability to accept influence from each other, because this will determine your ability to heal. Number 3, You're just going to combine the two, and the combination of the two will give you a hint regarding the length of your healing. And again, it's a hint. It's not going to come down to a number of weeks. It's going to come down to this is what we can expect. The rule to go by is the further you are along the healing periods and the better you are with the different variables, the quicker you can expect to heal and move on. So, do you see that giving a specific time can be now totally irrelevant? I hope you can see it. Now, I wanted to give you an idea of how that looked for a couple that we've worked with. So, feel free to take that as an example, not as something that represents anyone, right? It only represents that specific couple that we got to work with. So this couple came to us 4 months after the D-Day, or after the revelation of the relationship, the affair that happened. But when they came, so even 4 months after, they came in very much in a crisis mode, which would put them in the immediate aftermath period. So even though 4 months have gone by, they still were very much in the immediate aftermath, because during those 4 months, they were in crisis and they thought they can put it behind them, and it sent them right back to the crisis. In terms of their variable, they were both ready to take action, because those 4 months of going back and forth and kind of being thrown into the crisis each time made them really, really ready to take action. They were ready. They were just, tell us what we need to do, because we can't take this anymore. It's excruciating. So they both were very ready to take action and regain trust. They did have different expectations regarding the healing process that, we worked on as part of a program. In their case, the hurt partner was expected by her spouse to move on already, and not to spend so much time and energy discussing and agonizing about the infidelity. They also read in books or somewhere in the internet that it shouldn't take them more than X amount of time. And so they came with these expectations saying, something's wrong with us. We're not healing fast enough. And so we help them understand that instead of looking at this as a constant stepping forward or stepping backward, they can start seeing those instances where the hurt partner was feeling like they're thrown back into the crisis as an opportunity to grow. And from there, they're going to, instead of trying to avoid them and put them, to the side, they're going to now learn how to handle them. In terms of their psyche, I probably won't be able to go very much in detail because this will take a long time, but just to give you an idea, this couple was extremely open and ready to accept change, but one spouse was stuck with old defense mechanisms learned in childhood. So we helped the spouse give up those, which, I say it in one sentence, but it takes some time to be able to do that, but it's totally doable. We now know, thanks to neuroscience, that there is neuroplasticity. Our brains can change, our behavior can change, and it doesn't have to take a long time. We just need certain conditions for that to happen. And so we did that with this spouse, and we probably do that with a lot of our spouses. And so we help the spouse give up those learned mechanisms and to allow more vulnerability. And that transformed their ability to reconnect and heal one another. The hurt partner's ability to heal from trauma needed some backup. So this is one of those cases where the intrusive thoughts, the flashbacks, the nightmares, the hypervigilance was so intense that we actually recommended working alongside with the program, taking some EMDR, and that turned out to be life-saving for that spouse. So we did that. In terms of commitments, this is a couple that came into our program very much committed to the healing process and to the relationship. And so it made things so much easier in terms of we didn't have to stop for them to take time to understand whether they're committed to this process or not. They were committed. And as painful as it was, they were ready to do whatever it takes. Both of them were open to accepting change and influence. They didn't know how to do it at first because you need to learn tools on how to accept influence from your partner, how to let your partner heal you, and how to heal your partner. But they were very much open to learning that, which, was magical to see how they're allowing that to happen. So their overall healing period with us took 10 weeks. And if you add to that the 4 months before they worked with us, you'll get a little over 6 months for them to get to the post-healing period. At that point, we suggested our maintenance plan. We don't suggest it for every couple, and not every couple is going to meet that. This specific couple expressed their anxiety around ending the program and kind of feeling like they're not sure how to continue. Although we provided them with a very, very detailed maintenance plan, they still felt like they needed us. And so we suggested our 1 month program. We have a 3-month support, but we thought that they probably won't need all of that. So we offered 1 more month of support, and they took that. So overall, their healing was 7 months. And I think that after that, they were very much in the new normal period. Now, this is one case that represents one couple. You may relate to parts of their journey, and that's perfectly fine. So if you can find yourself in that story, then I think many will, then, you can assume how long that's going to take for you. But I really wanted to bring this specific case, not so much to give you a number, but for you to be able to understand how that, a typical, I don't even know if they're typical, but how long one couple took, so you can have some point to compare to. So I hope this is helpful. So I guess next time someone tells you it takes 6 months to heal after an affair, you will already know that this is a very one-dimensional statement. And if they don't know you enough, your case, they really cannot give you a number. So if everybody tries to give you a number, please take a deep breath and tell yourself, they don't really know me. Now, you might ask, wait, don't you guys offer an 8-week recovery program? So you're giving a number to this. To that, I'll say, remember, what we are offering is basically we go into that 8-week period time. We go into your lives, and we offer the active part of the healing. That doesn't mean that that's the whole healing period. Okay, so I hope that that's clear. Okay, so I hope this was helpful to you. I know I didn't then make things easy by not giving you a number of weeks or a number of months, but I am confident that you are now much more equipped to make your own estimate. Okay, so time to say goodbye. Please don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you can get alerts when each episode is out. And I would love it and really, really appreciate it if you can rate the show on iTunes or on Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. And I would be grateful if you can write a review, basically telling other couples how this has been helpful to you. Have an amazing rest of your day or evening. We can't wait to connect with you. And I definitely can't wait for our next episode. We have a lot of surprises for you. So stay tuned. Thank you for listening. Take care.